Or no? I should, right? Yeah, then my viewers can hear your reactions to the story. Okay. There we go. Turn speaker on. So I should be able to hear you because it's sitting on there. All right. So, hey guys. So my dog birthday is rolling in the next 15. Let's get it go. Green, green, green. Happy birthday to my girl Naki. Yay! So I'm on the phone with my girl and her birthday is coming in. And she loves my stories. When I sit and I tell her some of the things that I've been through in my life, she loves to hear my stories. So we're gonna bring her birthday in, and I decided to invite you guys into an intimate moment with me and my girl as we bring her birthday in. So here we go. The name of this story is called Holy Basketball. Now, as I tell you the story, you will understand why it's called Holy Basketball. Yo, I'm crazy sometimes. Alright, here we go. So boom. It's this app they got called Clubhouse. This last year, 2022. And so I get on the app. Now, how I got on the app, background story. So now, in my relationship with God, he began to teach me and to study his word. So he told me to go get a teacher, and he wanted the teacher to be a Hebrew Israelite so they could teach me the Torah because he wanted me to learn his law. So he sent me to a teacher. I was on Facebook and I was in all these different groups and interacting in the group. This one man commented and I saw him and he highlighted him to me and God said that's him. So as we was interacting, I saw the like spirit, the not like spirit. I don't know the terminology the church people use or how to say it really. Because I'm not really used to articulating my stories out loud, but so I'm gonna do my best. Basically, I knew he was the one. And then the Lord confirmed to me he was the one. So I had sessions with him where I would sit and we would talk and he would teach me the Torah. He taught me about the Sabbath and how to keep the Sabbath according to the new moon. And it was what the Lord was telling me, that he wanted me to keep my Sabbath and he wanted me to keep it according to the new moon. And this is how I've done. He started teaching me about the festivals and the holy days and everything like that. Because prior to that, he had taught me the true meaning of Christmas. But I'm not getting into that in this video. But since your girl making videos, you'll hear that one too. But right now, we're talking about Holy Basketball, the Vegas trip. Okay, so now as I'm following this man and he teaching me the Torah, and he ended up telling me to come on Clubhouse. So I make an account, I follow him on Clubhouse, I'm sitting in his teachers and all of that. So as I'm listening, I still feel like something is missing because it's strictly just about the law and the law of Moses and the Levitical priesthood and those kind of things, the laws and the precepts and the order and structure of things. But it was missing the spirit. No Holy Spirit was there, so I kind of was missing his spirit, and I knew I couldn't settle there and I couldn't be a Hebrew Israelite. So that's how I didn't. But I almost got sucked into being a Hebrew Israelite, y'all, because I was done with church. And it was sounding good to me. I almost got sucked in, but they ain't had his spirit. And I knew what his spirit felt like. And it was missing. So I knew that wasn't for me. But I took the teaching that the Lord led me to get. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. See, sometimes the Lord will have you in places where you can learn certain things to get a better understanding of who he is as God. Oh, this is going good, Nick. I see why you be loving it. I play too much, y'all. This is just me. Hello, I'm Danny, Miss Princess, Okay, so as I'm on here, I goes looking through the different rooms, and I stumble upon this room. And as I go there, they talking, and I hear the different conversation and debate. So this one girl says she about to go continue the conversation in another room. So I'm like, all right, because I was feeling it. I goes into the other room with them, and they in there, and we talking. And as we talking, I begin to tell them a little bit about me. Here we go. Me being vulnerable. Every time I try to be vulnerable, it always go crazy. But it was beautiful at the same time. So this is where one of my first, where I put my feet down on the grounds of the clubhouse streets. You know what I'm saying? And I begin to move in the spirit. So I guess this is called like one of the real beginning of my training in the wilderness as a prophet of God. So I'm sitting in there and we talking and stuff. We talking about the spirit of God and we talk about different presents and encounters and stuff. And I've had a little few encounters myself by now. So I was able to dive into the conversation because by now I got a little bit of an idea of who I am and what I could do. I still don't really know, but I'm learning. I know a little bit more than I did yesterday. So I'm talking and I begin to tell them a little bit about my giftings. And the particular gifting I wanted to open up to them about was that I could see babies in somebody's stomach. Like I could look at somebody's stomach and I could see if it's a baby in there or if there's a baby about to be in there soon and they're about to be pregnant. Sometimes I could actually even see the baby, like see the face of the baby, see what the baby look like. And that's while I'm awake and I'm looking. Like a pregnant woman walking down the street or walking past me or in front of me, I could look at her and see a baby in her stomach. Sometimes I can see the sex of the baby. It depends. So I'm telling this to them. And then this man was like, what? You can't see no baby inside the womb, and like was calling me a liar. And I'm like, what? How you gonna tell me I'm a liar about what I experienced? But okay, go ahead. Do your thing though. So then this guy came in the room. I'm not gonna say his name, so let me see. We're gonna call him we're gonna call him King. That's his nickname, King. So King comes in the room and I see him automatically, like, who's that? I don't know why, but he highlighted to me. So, okay. The room kept going on, and then he comes up to the stage. They introduce him. He talk a little bit, and he start talking like me. And I'm like, okay, this is my people. Let's go. So then he just so happened to let them know, no, hold on. She not lying. That's really a type of ability. Like, that's a gifting from God. It's called a seer. And it's come with the office of a prophet. So then he began to just say little things. So as I was about to jump in and defend myself, somebody else in the room started speaking on my behalf. Thank you, Nick. I finally got my coffee. Hey guys, so I've been waiting about maybe an hour for a cup of coffee. It's 11:53 p.m. I think I've been waiting since like 10 that. Like an hour, right? Yeah, like an hour I've been waiting for some coffee. But I thank God because this coffee is the best coffee in town, okay? This coffee was made by my boy, Chef Kai. CEO of Kai's Kitchen Cafe. Be on the lookout for my boy because he coming. So back to the story. Somebody else just started speaking before I could even get in to defend myself and start speaking because the Lord allowed them to see me. So they begin to say little things that they know about me that God allowed them as pertaining to me and my abilities and who I am. So then I was trying to say something and then somebody else came off mute and started speaking too because the Lord then showed them something about me that was totally different than what that person seen. And then finally, another person comes off mute. I feel anointing. So I didn't even have to defend myself. I wanted to so bad, but he wouldn't let me because he wanted me to see that I got you because I validate you. I set you and establish you. And when I set you and establish you, no man can discredit or set you apart when I set you apart. Because no man can make a prophet. Only God can make a prophet. A person can only be born a prophet. He told Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1:5 that before I formed you in your mother's belly, I knew you. And I set you aside as a prophet to the nations. You don't just grow up and be a prophet. No, you either born a prophet or you're not a prophet. Either God makes you a prophet, man can't make you a prophet. But this is not that video. Let's go on with the story. So now I'm gonna release this one. So okay. Then now I finally get to speak, but instead of defending myself, I begin to start prophesying to the people in the room. I get to the same man that was just talking like as if I was crazy or discrediting me, and I asked him what was his name. And he didn't want to tell me his name because I didn't want to just deliver the message. I wanted to address it to him, particularly because of his unbelief. And he didn't really understand what I was doing. And I guess he was skeptical because of the witchcraft and stuff. So I don't blame him. But okay. And he wasn't really familiar with the move of the Holy Spirit. He believes in Jesus and all that, but he don't really know about encounters where Jesus really show up and be tangible in his experiences. So, but it was okay because then it was like moving on next, and I just went on to the next person and kept going, and it was crazy because it was like because of his stubbornness, because of his blindness, because of his refusal to be able to identify the Spirit of God, he missed his blessing, he missed his release, he missed the answer that he was looking for. Because God told me something specific to tell me, but I had to address it to him. He had to receive it. Because he who received the prophet received the prophet reward. Now on with the story. So okay, at the end of the day, I end up following the guy. He follows me. And he was preaching in this room and stuff. And I went and I would go and listen to him preach. And I would love him preach. It was so nice and amazing. And at this time, I was going through some difficulties in my marriage. And basically, I was feeling like me and my husband were unequally yoked. It's not that he don't believe in God. He believes in God. But we just, I'm more into like the preaching and going out and the pouring out kind of thing. And he's not that kind of person. So anyway, moving along. We were going through issues in our relationship, and I was going through a searching, and I was going through being torn apart about a dream. I'm not really going to go into depth about the dream on this particular video, but if you go and listen to my album and listen to some of my videos, you'll hear a little bit of it along the way until you get to that video. But I'm here, y'all. I'm open. I'm being used by God. I'm available, and I'm here however he want to use me. And if this is how he chooses to use me to show his glory, then I'm with it. I'm really not comfortable with allowing people in because people were so wicked. And I really didn't know how wicked people were until I experienced the wickedness of people. And it hurt me. So I put a wall up. So this is me having an attempt to allow you to see me as one, a person, two, a minister of God, and three, along my journey of finding out one, who I am, what's my purpose, what God made me to do, how I fit into his plan. It's my journey and I'm allowing you to see. So welcome in. So back to the story. So I began to follow him, and after a while, he started to ping me. Okay, in Clubhouse, you could basically, like, if you call in somebody, you want them to come into a room that you in or something like that, or you want to invite them into a room, you ping them. So he started pinging me into his room and to his leadership chats and stuff. And after a while, I found myself on his team. And it was so nice, the experience, but I came into conflict because some of the people just didn't like me for no reason. I realized they didn't like me. I started seeing it, and this is how God taught me to be able to see behind the mask and identify different people and how they really feel. I would say something, and then the response they would say, now it's only an audible app. Your picture is there, but only your voice is live, and then you could type messages. So the responses to me was always like kind of like shady, and I'm like, dang, like what I do to you? And I peeped it. And then when I brought it to the attention that you was being shady to me, this girl gonna tell me, first of all, she gonna say, I'm not gonna bow down to your brokenness. What? She said, I'm not gonna bow down to your brokenness because nobody never loved you. Oh, nobody never loved me, girl. What? You don't know nothing. What are you talking about? Nobody never loved me? Like what? Girl, you don't know my story. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know where my brokenness come from. But nobody ever loved me, girl. You reaching. You just trying to be like vicious and you sound real nasty. And all you doing is showing your character and you a hater. What's the real issue? What's your problem? Oh, the problem is you can see me flowing in a little bit of my giftings and you feel intimidated. I'm not coming for your spot. I was put here, so that means I have my own. But you so busy watching me, you can't even focus on yours. You showing off when you get a chance to do yours. And you ain't giving God a chance to flow. Because you so busy watching me. And when I bring it to your attention, you make it seem like I'm hurt, I'm broken. No, I'm not hurt, I'm not broken. Do I have hurt? Hell yeah, all of us do. But moving along, because this story gets interesting. So now, so one day we got this fellowship coming up. We all supposed to link up and go to Vegas. And as the fellowship getting closer, it's mountains out there in Vegas. So me being me in love with God, I told him I want to see him on the top of a mountain because we was talking about a hike on the mountain. So I'm praying and I'm telling God, so I still believe, listen, I got a mountain experience coming. I don't know who going with me. I don't know how this going to go, but I got a mountain experience coming because God waiting for me on top of a mountain somewhere one of these days real soon. I got a mountain experience and I'm here for it. I told him, God, I want to see you on the top of the mountain like Moses, face to face. And he told me he waiting for me. So I told them, God told me that he waiting for me on the top of the mountain. So we going up that mountain worshiping. And the response I got was like kind of shady. I can't even tell you what she said verbatim because I done mixed that junk off now, but it was real shady. Like, wait, what? So then I called her out on it, and then we was called into a little private meeting where she told me that I was hurt, I was broken, and I need to heal, and she ain't gonna bow down to my brokenness, and she don't have to bow down to me, and she don't gotta do what I want her to do, and she don't gotta love me the way I expect her to love me. Maybe she could give me a hard love. Maybe I need a hard love. Maybe nobody never loved me, and this is just the way she gonna love me. Like, baby girl, let me tell you something, sweetheart. I'm not ever hard up for nobody to love me. Are you crazy? Did I want to fit in? Of course I did. Did I want to be accepted? Of course I did. I was put on this team, so of course I would want to be welcomed there. But do I ever want to kiss everybody's ass? I've never had to do that. Because even in my brokenness and even when I was running from myself, I always knew I was her. I always knew I was talented. I might not have known everything that I could do spiritually, but musically, you can't tell me nothing. That alone, my worship, aside of my talent, my worship, my intimacy with God when I sing to him and he come in, you can't tell me nothing. That alone, you can't tell me nothing. But I never was the person to just flaunt it in your face like, yeah, I know God more better than you. Ooh, 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 ooh. But that's how they be acting like, oh, you think you know God more better than me? But did I say that? Dang. So, okay, boom. As we getting closer to it, I had a dream. So now, what happened was I was having a fight with my lover, and I was, saying some stuff to him like, "Oh, you the Ishmael, you the counterfeit, and blah blah blah. Leave me alone, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and all that stuff with the dramatics and everything, and you don't align with my purpose and my promise, and blah blah blah." And I don't know, I just was feeling like out of place. I was just feeling like it wasn't working, like nothing was going right. Like, I don't know. It was just like I was going crazy. I do know. I was broken and torn apart within myself. And I was mad at him because he wasn't the dream. And I was mad at me because I was loving him and loving the dream, and I could not have both. And he wasn't the dream. And I felt like I could not have the dream because I was already married to him. I chose him. I chose to honor my vow. I chose to honor my vow to him. I chose to honor my vow to God. So then at the point where it got real rough and I'm like, you know what, I'm tired of this. It's not working, blah, blah, blah. I'm over it. Oh, and I'm a runner. So basically I was running and I was looking for the husband, the perfect image that I had in my mind because he just didn't look like he fitted. He had a lot of parts, but the parts that he did not have was just so like, oh my God, to me. Especially when I was going to sleep and it was somebody in my dream that had all the parts that he didn't have. Man, I was so hurt, broken, torn apart. I didn't know what to do. I was confused because is this a dream? Is it real? Like, what's going on? So that night, after all that yelling and screaming, I laid down and I said, God, if you have an Isaac for me, then show me because I'm losing hope. I'm going to just settle. I'll be alone. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you have an Isaac for me? And then I had a vision. And I saw me standing next to this man. And I was holding his hand. And I couldn't really see the man or see his face. I just saw, like, silhouettes, the outline. Like, you know, the figure of a man in me. But I knew it was me. But I really didn't know who the man was. But he was familiar to me. And then I just fell asleep instantly right after I had the vision. So now when I went to sleep, I woke up and I was inside this house. And the house belonged to my childhood friend. In middle school, I had a friend when I was like 12 and growing up all through middle school. My friend Tara. And in the dream, it was Tara's house. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why is it Tara in the dream? It's going to make sense. Watch, I'm going to show you why I was Tara in the dream. Oh, my heart just jumped from that. Oh, my God. I don't know if I'm ready to show y'all. Oh, hold on. It's too deep. Dang. Should I stop the video now or keep rolling? Oh, God. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. All right, here we go. So, boom. Sarah, oh, wait, I'm going to interpret the dream afterwards. That'll make more sense. Okay. So, first, I had a dream that I was at Tara's house. And we had a baby dead. I had a baby. It was my baby. My baby was dead. And it was actually my real life baby, my last baby, Promise. She was in the dream. And me and Promise was at Tara's house. And as we did, we chilling and everything. And then her father was attracted to me. He was an older man. And so I went outside and her father got out this car and he was coming up to me. And he was trying to hook up with me. And I was like, no, I'm not interested. And then he offered me some money, and I was like, no, I'm still not interested. And then he upped the price, a lot of money, and I was like, just come on. So we went to this apartment across the street, and it looked like it was like one of them rooming houses or like a room hotel, like a cheap little shabby motel, but it looked like a house, and you could rent a room. So we went inside there. And when we got inside, he gave me the money and he took off his clothes. And as I was taking off my clothes, I started to feel naked and ashamed. And then as I start feeling ashamed, I look at the money and I look at him and I feel uncomfortable. And I'm slowly taking off my clothes, but I really don't want to. So then I looked out the window. When I looked out the window, I saw King. King was coming out of Tara's house. And he was walking across the street, and I'm like, oh my God, that was King. What if he see me here? And I was like, yeah, keep your money. And I threw it. And then after I was like, I gotta go. And then when we saw each other, it was like, hey, all excited. We went to hug each other, but we stopped and backed up and just like shook hands or like dapped it up or something. And then he was like, what's up? And then we started walking and we was talking like we was best friends and having a good old time. And then we goes to like this nail salon place, or like this place, like a business place, like where you do like manicures and pedicures and getting yourself together. What is that, neck? Like a spa? Like what is it? Not a spa. Like when you, it is a spa, right? Like you could go there before your wedding or before a ceremony or something, like getting your nails done and your feet. Yeah, like a spa. And it was beautiful inside. It was very nice. And he was sitting in the chair and I was sitting beside him. And he was getting his nails done. Like not like feminine, but like getting them cleaned and cut and like with clear polish. And he was getting his feet done with clear polish and cleaned and cut and all of that stuff. He was getting himself done. So we was talking. So now I told him I was excited about the ball coming up. And when I mentioned the ball and the fellowship, he got sad. And I was like, what? And he was like, the ladies don't want you on the team no more. And I was like, what? They don't want me on the team. And I'm like, well, what does God have to say about that? And he didn't say nothing. And I was like, well, what do you got to say about that? And he didn't say nothing. And before you could say something else, the lady cut in over him and start talking to me like as if I was worthless or like I wasn't good enough or something. And I looked at her and I ran up on her like I was going to attack her, and I caught myself and I stopped and I backed up. And then I apologized and I told her, I said, look, yes, Alon, all this stuff in here is real nice and stuff. It's beautiful and stuff. I said, but that don't matter. I said it is. It's real beautiful. It's a lot of nice stuff in here. Your place is really fancy. It's beautiful. It's established. I have to give that to you. I said, but your heart is real nasty. And that's something you have to deal with God. And I said, God bless you. And I looked at him and I said, I'll see you later. And then I walked away and I left out. And then I went back to Tira House. I ended up at Tira House again. And it was a ball going on, like a party. And all the girls had on ball dresses and fancy gowns. And they was like dressed and prepared for the party. And I still had on my regular clothes and my little afro that I was at the salon when I was talking to him. And I was looking around and I was feeling out of place. Then two of the girls ran up on me and they was like viciously attacking me and talking at me like as if I was worthless. And then I was like defending myself a little bit verbally, and then they attacked me, and then I dragged them all over the floor, duffed them out, boop, 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 put my hands on them. And then I stopped and I caught myself and I let them know that I didn't want to dog you out like that. Like, I didn't want to put my hands on you. I was trying to avoid that, but you keep attacking me, and they attacked me again, and I ducked them out again. Boop, 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 boop. So then when I was done, it was doo-doo. Like, I looked down on the floor, and it was doo-doo. Like, footprints of doo-doo on the floor. And I looked down, and it was on the bottom of my feet. And I was like, oh, my God. So I cleaned the doo-doo off my feet, and then I cleaned the doo-doo off the floor. And then I looked at Tara and I told her, like, Tara, I'm so sorry. I did not even mean for any of this to happen. That was not my intentions. Like, that wasn't what I was trying to do. And I'm sorry. So I felt sad and I left. And as I was leaving out of the house and I was walking down the street, King came walking up to me from down the hill when he started walking up the hill. When I was walking down the hill when he met me. And then we start walking and talking like we was best friends again. And as we walking and talking, the scene changed, and then we end up in his bed. And as we laying in the bed, we underneath this white sheet, and it's a thin white sheet. And he got on only boxes and a t-shirt. And I got on a t-shirt and the panties. And we under the cover, but we not looking under the covers, and we not touching each other. But we keeping our legs apart, like mad tight, like we trying not to touch, and like we trying not to do the wrong thing or something. And then there was people standing around the bed placing bets. And this one guy, he was like, hey, princess, You ain't gonna give it up like that, right? You ain't gonna do that. Y'all both holy in real life, right? And I was like, yeah, it ain't even gonna go down like that. We ain't even giving it up like that. And then he was like, see, I told y'all she was real. And then he was like, give me my money. And then they disappeared from around the bed. And then I looked at the clock, and the clock said 5 o'clock. Like it was too late. And then he was like, oh, you gotta go, you late. You gotta pick up the kids. Like you late to pick up the kids, you gotta get up. And I'm like, oh, so we jumped up and we went down, running down the hill to go get the kids. And as I was going down the hill, my mother came walking up the hill with my kids. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, you got my babies for me. Thank you so much. I didn't even realize I was late. And then she was like, yes, you not late. What you talking about? I picked them up for you on the way. And I'm like, I'm not late. And I looked at my watch and it said 3 o'clock. And I'm like, wait, what? It was just 5 o'clock. So then the scene changed again. And I ended up going back to Tira house again to get my baby. Promise. Because I left her at the house and I went to go get her. So as I went to go get her, they was telling me that the father wanted to see me. And I was uncomfortable. Like, what? No, I don't want to see him. What do you want to see me for? So I went back to him. And when I went back to him, he was sitting there and he looked different. He was dressed different. He had on a suit and a tie like a churchman or something. And he looked like he had a glow about him. Like he just looked different. And I was just looking like, what the heck? And then he had a book on the table with some money in the book. And I'm like, what is that? And he slid the book over to me. And it was the money that he was originally trying to give me in the beginning. And he was like, write the book when y'all get married. And then I woke up. So here I go, like, oh my God. So King is my real husband. So now I'm praying for King. I'm praying for me. I'm praying. So God told me, like, no, don't pray King. Don't pray no name. I want you to pray my husband. So, okay, I start praying how God told me. And he said, I start praying my husband. So I spent 2022 praying my husband like God told me to, not praying no names. So, okay. Boom. Vegas. So now we get up close to the Vegas trip, and I'm so mad because they got my money all tied up, and I'm waiting for my money so that I could pay for my trip. No, I paid for my trip already. I paid for my ticket. Now I had to pay for my flight and all that stuff like that. And I'm waiting for my money, and it still ain't come. It's locked up, and I'm so mad. Like, oh my God, Lord, I want to go. And I'm praying and telling God I want to go and let him know. Like, I don't never get to do nothing. I never ask for nothing for myself. I really want to go. I never get to be me. I never get to be Danielle. I just want to go and be Danielle. I don't want to go be mommy. I don't want to go be Isaiah's wife. I just want to go be Danielle. And somebody paid for my ticket. Somebody paid for my flight. It was over $500. Man, I love her, little sweetheart. That touched my heart in a way that many, many people haven't, because people don't do stuff like that. I know it was only God. And I really, really love her. Like, she got a special place in my heart when she did that, because she didn't have to do that. Because she did that and she obeyed God, I was able to go. See, God will touch people's heart to do things for you when your ways please him, when you begin to seek him, when you want to know him in a relationship for yourself. He will make ways for you that will blow your mind. Miracles in the desert. Listen, I'm telling you. So boom, Vegas. Oh, right before Vegas, my money comes. So I'm like, yes, okay, I'm going to have some spending money. Let me go shopping, get my dress for the ball. Get ready, get cute, blah, 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 get my hair done, all that, okay? So I get my money. God tells me, go ahead and go get your stuff for Vegas. And don't buy the kids nothing. We get to the shopping store, and I'm looking, and they got kids clothes in the store and adult clothes in the store. So I'm like, all right, boom. I'm going to go get my stuff, and if I see something for them, I could get something for them. It ended up my stuff wasn't in that store, but their stuff was. I bought their stuff. And then right after that, I went to the next store. The only thing I was able to get was my jewelry and me like a little jacket, a cape thing, a little jacket, a little sweater, cardigan, whatever they call that thing, a little jacket thing, a little cute thing. So I wasn't able to get me a dress, so I'm looking for a dress. In the process of me looking for a dress, somebody stole the baby bag. So we in this store. I parked the stroller, and I'm looking for the dress. I'm still by the stroller. These kids walk off to the back of the store, moving ahead of me. And now I'm trying to get them because what we looking for ain't even in this store. And they all the way back at the store. I tell one of the kids, stay right here by the stroller. I goes to get the other kids from the back of the store. By the time we get back to the front of the store and we leaving out the store, we leave out the store, we go to another store where they actually got dresses, and I see a dress that I could possibly like, but my baby bag gone. Somebody stole my baby bag. I was so mad, like, oh my God. I didn't even get nothing for my trip. I'm gonna have to wait for a new card to come in the mail. I gotta cancel the card, and then I had like $150 in cash in the wallet, in the baby bag. My keys, house keys was in the baby bag. My phone was in the baby bag. My baby stuff was in the baby bag. Like, who steals the baby bag? That wasn't coincidental. Come on, this is the weird stuff I be talking about that be happening in my life, trying to interfere with my trips and stuff. So I felt like, oh yeah, I gotta go with something near for me. Listen, you hear me, Nick? Something near for me. Huh? Yeah, we had 37 minutes already. Should I do it in parts and cut it and do a part 2 or keep going? Well, we ain't even get to Vegas yet. We still going to Vegas. So we will end it at the airport and then do a part 2. Yeah, because people will be watching the whole video because this story getting good. All right, let's end it. So, all right. So finally, my daddy gives me some money. I get enough to have a little spending money. So my flight paid for. I got an old dress. I put in the cleaners. I was so heartbroken that I had to wear the old dress. But you got to watch part 2 to see how God blew my mind. Even in that old dress. How that old dress stood out in the midst of all these brand new dresses. Stick around for part 2. This is Story Time with Princess. Happy birthday, Nick! Holy Basketball. Part 1. Tune in for part 2.